Hey everyone, my name is Vinita. If you don't already know me, thank you for being here. This is our first video, and really excited to start off the platform and see what comes of it. Background on me, I'm a pre-med student. I just graduated undergrad, and quarantine boredom is obviously getting to me. And I wanted to work on creating a platform for a really long time and didn't really know what direction I wanted to go with it. But I've seen a lot of my really amazing friends start really interesting channels and have been a little bit more on social media and seeing the different sorts of things people are doing. And I figured that I definitely want to take it in a direction that's important to me, but something that also covers sort of all of my interests and stuff that I'm interested in. So, welcome to the first episode of a program that we are calling Rowdy Rani. And we'll totally get into the name later because it's got some fun, interesting background behind it. But first, we have a very important person that we need to get addressed, which is.
Why did I do that? I immediately made myself look like I'm 16. But yeah, so I'm Shreyas. I've been friends with Anita for almost 6 years now. Jesus, that's a little too long for me. But yeah, I'm a biomedical engineer. I graduated 2019, May. So, we got that degree. And now I've been shifted to pre-med specifically for osteopathic medicine. Funnily enough, that's also what Benita's doing. She's the one who actually dragged me into this. But yeah, so I guess I am taking on sort of the role of being a producer slash like semi co-host for now. Because I mean, again, the premise of the podcast, like we said, we'll get into the name, is Rowdy Ronnie. So then it's mainly about her talking about her opinions and stuff. But I'm Mr. Tech Dude, and I feel like my opinions are also important.
Yes, 100%.
I'm Bane. So yeah, so the entire point is just that I'm here to kind of help carry the production value of this, but then I'll interject too, because I mean, on one side I can be educated about the stuff that she's talking about when she's talking about like misogynistic stuff. Surprise, that could be a topic, and then I can also be one to provide some other experiences of my own that I've had that we will talk about. But yeah, so why don't you explain what the podcast is about, because I kind of just spoiled it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm super excited to have Shreyas on board. I am really bad at executing things, and he's really good at keeping me on track. And we have great back and forth banter. We have fun with it. So the name Rowdy Rani is something that I've honestly been toying with for a really long time, and it comes from this sort of verbiage that's been used a lot recently around me, especially with all of the discussion and movements with Black Lives Matter, talking about gender equality and feminism and all of these things. And a lot of this stuff has been really important to me, but I've sort of been growing and trying to learn sort of my place as wanting to be an activist and how to sort of create that platform for, myself and the things I'm passionate about, and working on having really important and deep discussion with the people around us, whether that be peers of our age group or people that are older, in our parents' generation or anything like that. I think that as Indian Americans and American born Indians, I guess, we have a really interesting perspective on certain issues because we are sort of one foot in one community and one foot in the other community. And a lot of the times when I have these conversations with certain people, they tell me, oh, you can't just expect all this change. Like, you can't just be like Rowdy. You can't just be like a rebel and expect all these things to change. And I guess, initially it kind of like has like a negative connotation, like, oh, you're doing something bad and I guess. But I think for me, it was more like I'm talking about things that are important and that people haven't been talking about. And it's so new that it seems like I'm almost in some sort of way like negative or like delinquent or something of that nature. But I honestly think that to me, it means that we're talking about the things that need to be talked about, and we are not just adhering to the system that has been created and constructed for us and sort of just almost blindly following certain things. But I want this to be a platform where we really sit down, dissect and question different issues. And a lot of the times when I have conversation, again, usually with older people, but also sometimes people of my peer group, people say like, well, that's just how it is. And unfortunately, that's not a good enough answer for me. And I don't think it's ever going to be a good enough answer. And I don't want it to be an answer for me or for anybody else. And so Rowdy Ronnie is going to be a platform that we are going to have the conversations about difficult things, about tough things, about really complex things. And this is also why I'm really excited to have Shreyas on board, because it is really fun. We, as friends in our friendship, have had a lot of conversation about these sorts of things, and, you know, having ourselves grow and become better activists, which, you know, fortunately and unfortunately, I think everybody in our generation sort of needs to start stepping into the role of being. But also just growing and being better people for ourselves, for our families, and for, you know, the community that we reside in and take part of. So it's going to be majorly, step one is kind of unboxing, unpacking, really trying to dig deep and delve deep into, you know, a bunch of issues. We have really not a lot of limits set on ourselves for all the things that we want to talk about, but definitely will be heavier on the whole like South Asian, desi culture, Indian culture, whatever you want to call it. But I think that's going to be a really big part of it, because it's a really big part of me. And I want this podcast to be very genuine and sort of reflect all aspects of me and like ourselves. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing really fun stuff. You know, we're looking forward to doing a lot of things. Him and I are both really into film, so we're going to probably go down that route and do some fun film stuff maybe.
Yes. On that note, I will say, like, I think because she spoke about being American born. That said, I was actually born in Chennai, so I'm the true Indian here. That said, I've always been more like I'm less cultured as it was. Like I can confidently and funnily use the term whitewash to describe myself on some degree, because for the most part, outside of like big Hindi films, like I barely know anything about Tamil culture, and I'm Tamil. So I think that's definitely something to consider on one end, like with the film stuff, is that most of the time I'll also be getting educated on something that she may have already seen. And even on that, I wanted to kind of address something you said earlier, where it's, you know, it is obviously going to be like South Asian-ish oriented, but since we are trying to get on some level of talking about activism in general, I think it's really important that a good reason for us to have this in video format, I think, is because now on YouTube we can have people interacting and kind of educating us, because it's because as much as any podcast always seems like a vanity exercise for any mid 20-year-old kid, while it is on some level, I mean, the entire point is so that we can state our opinions, have them out there, hopefully educate some other people, and then equally get educated ourselves. Because, I mean, both of us, like, for example, we're not members of the LGBTQ community, even though at this point, I think now there's an A to include allies in there. But like this, like, we don't have the ability to speak on those issues as well. And on the same regard, we don't have the ability to speak super intimately about issues like Black Lives Matter. So because of things like that, it's like we want this to be interactive to some degree, so that way we get the feedback we need to discuss it, and then ideally formulate better opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it is important that it's not just going to be something that is just us talking with each other, or just us talking in general and you guys listening. We want it to be, like he said, really interactive, and it's about building a community. You know, a platform is always a catalyst to build community, and that's an extremely important thing for me, and I want this to be a reason for people to come together. I'm a huge fan of talk shows and the idea in general. Like, all of growing up, I was told, oh, you should go into stand-up comedy, or you should go into, like, you know, doing talk shows. And I was like, well, I mean, LA is a little far, but, you know, now thanks to all the social media platforms and the streaming platforms that we have, we can do this from the comfort of our very own homes. And so I personally will be doing my best to try and bring in people from time to time who are guest speakers, because I love interviewing, and I think it's so important and so valuable to be interviewing people and asking them the real questions that matter, and just giving you guys another perspective and sort of allowing you to see how a conversation might look. And, you know, maybe you'll pick some things up and you guys can sort of build off of that and grow off of that. But Shreyas and I are both really open to being educated. We're not like offended if someone's trying to tell us something new, or, you know, to sort of help us learn and become, like he said, better allies, and, you know, better supports and better people to be active for these communities, I guess. And so, yeah, we're super non-judgmental. We want everybody to be a part of this. We want this to grow, obviously, and we just want, you know, we want to have a good time with it. And I think to me, ultimately, the most important thing that hopefully will come from this is the feeling of empowerment. And I very, very strongly believe in empowerment in a lot of different realms. And I think to achieve that, we need to have, really open the conversation, communication, really trying to understand issues in a way that's not just it's been taught to us this way, but more so that we're creating our own opinions on it and really delving and understanding why does it apply to us? Why does it not apply to us? Those sorts of things. And second, really trying to talk and understand different ways that we can actually implement change in these systems. Because again, a lot of the things that we've been talking about recently is so systematic, whether it be cultural things or, societal or political things. A lot of these are so systematic. They have been ingrained in people. And so obviously that's not the only thing we're going to talk about, but it will be a part of it. And we want to open up the platform and, build that really strong community. There are so many great brown creators out there. So shout out to you guys. Trace and I love watching a bunch of different creators, and we talk about them all the time. They're seriously so great. But all creators are seriously doing something really awesome. It's good stuff. This is my first time obviously sitting and talking into a webcam like this and having a discussion with imaginary people. So it's not easy stuff. And, we're really want to empowerment. That's the main thing here. We want to empower ourselves, want to empower others around us. And, in that journey, if we are labeled as rowdies, or if we are labeled as having a rowdy mindset or trying to rebel against the system, then so be it. That's what we're here to do. Systems aren't meant to keep us down. Systems are meant to be built up by the people that are within them. And so that's really what we want to build here. That's what we want to preach here. And that's the sort of system I want to be a part of. And I want to be a catalyst for change. And I know that, Shreyas is really passionate about it as well. So this is sort of the synopsis of our platform that we're getting started. So if you guys have watched this far, thank you so much. It's definitely a new thing, but we're definitely going to work on it and get better and keep improving. And hopefully you guys will like our content that is soon to come. But yeah, definitely really, really excited. I'm really excited for this platform. I've been trying to think about it and formulate it for a really long time, and it's, starting to come together. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I didn't really have much else to add. I guess just logistically, I'm still figuring out, we're still figuring out how we're going to do this on the platform. Obviously it's video, so it's going to be YouTube, the whole thing. Like she said, the main focus, given that, we are members of the brown community, we're going to be talking about that. And again, the disclaimer, we are 100% looking to educate ourselves here, especially when in regards to being part of the brown community includes the Muslim community. So we also will have to address those issues, even though we're not those members. So please, especially members of those communities, come and inform us, because that's really important. But yeah, otherwise, just logistically, I think, wherever this is, hopefully you find it, you'll enjoy it. Ideally, there'll also be an audio version of it. If we can do that, ideally with the videos, we'll probably at some point have a screen share of some piece of news, something like that. If not, then it's just going to make my job harder to edit it in. And I'll try and make it funny, I guess, with the editing, because this will be a fun little project on the side. That said, again, just logistically, I'm here to kind of, I do want to be contributing to this, obviously, but especially, given the name and it is her idea, we're trying to make this the conversation, she's going to be leading it. So I'm just letting you know, sometimes you might just see me silently at the top of your screen in speaker view as just watching the whole thing.
We love our tiny shirts at the top. We love it. We're here for it.
See, normally I'm okay with that, but you just said that publicly now. That's a funny joke between us, but now it's just become this thing that everyone's seeing. So thank you, everyone. I hope you do appreciate that when it happens. If you haven't already seen that our personalities are like this, then stick around, because it's just going to get worse. Hopefully the conversations will get better. There's a great tagline. But yeah, exactly. But that's basically it. I really have nothing else to add from what she said. Again, this is just kind of a synopsis. Hopefully you guys will see some other stuff. We'll leave some information in the description, obviously, about other sources that you can go to if you need to, petitions, anything that falls in line. stuff that isn't generally in the environment. For example, Black Lives Matter, even if our first few topics may not be Black Lives Matter, that's still going to be in the description because that's culturally important right now. And that said, I do want to say, like, at least the most recent thing that I've seen that I've enjoyed is something called Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man, which is by a guy named Emmanuel Ocho. I believe I pronounced that correctly. And if you haven't seen his videos yet, I highly recommend it. He's making it a series, talking about it with other people. And I think it's just, if anything, that's the entire same premise as what we're kind of trying to do here, is that spark that uncomfortable conversation, be ones willing to sit through it, ask the questions, get asked the questions, learn about it to try and get the right answers. And sometimes even recognize that there might not be a right answer. There might be a gray area where we'll have to discuss it. And that's the entire point, is that you watch this discussion and hopefully that discussion does something to you internally to spark your own inner dialogue about this. So.
Yes, love it. Honestly, guys, please be out there supporting creators, especially people who are having really important conversations. They're doing great stuff. I love that series. I do my best to keep up with it at all times. He's a brilliant person and very eloquent and so many things to admire. And yes, definitely we want this platform to be a source of information for people. And as it grows, hopefully we will have more areas and facets for you guys to be able to explore that and access that, and all those sorts of things. So yeah, hopefully, you know, you maybe if you're in my peer group as young people watching this, I hope you guys enjoy it. But I also hope that you guys, you know, show it to your parents, like watch with your parents. A lot of the things that inspire the topics that we're going to talk about here is, you know, things that I've had really deep discussions with my mom about. And my mom is really great. But my whole family is really great. You know, we talk about these things, and
we should get our parents on.
Huh?
We should get our parents on.
Yes, I'm okay. Yeah. I'm super about this, and I totally asked my mom, and she was like, "I don't know." So
I just have to make sure my mom doesn't go on too long.
Yeah,
she will. She enjoys these.
Grace's mom is super awesome, guys. Super, super awesome. No, I would really love to have our parents on the show. I keep joking that hopefully, if this blows up and gets like kind of famous, that like then they can be on there. But we'll definitely see. But it is a huge thing that's really important to me. I'm very close to my family. And I hope that you guys can sort of take this stuff and maybe watch it with your family and maybe have dialogues about it on your own. It's all supposed to be a catalyst and something to, you know, help things along the way and definitely get things moving in a certain direction or maybe a new direction that you guys didn't think of. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. We're really excited to be embarking on this journey. I'm really excited that it's all sort of finally coming together and building into a thing. So, you know, look out for the things that we sort of start up anew. And if you guys are creative people or creators out there, or even people that just want to get involved with the platform, please reach out to us on any sort of social media that we start up.
Be above.
Yes. I've always wanted to do this pointing thing on, but yeah, description box and whatever.
Yeah, don't point too much. Don't make my job that hard.
Yeah, he's gonna have to like find everywhere I point. But definitely, please reach out to us. I'm all about growth. We are all about growth as a team. And I know I have certain strengths and certain weaknesses. So we definitely want to get people on the team that have different sets of strength and that can really, you know, take this whole mission and create new things from it and sort of put us in new directions. So please reach out if this sounds at all interesting to you, or if you would like to collaborate, be interviewed with me, with us. I would be super excited. I love interviewing people. And as of now, hopefully I'm going to be interviewing as many people as I can find and network and connect with. But definitely, if you guys are interested or passionate at all, let us know, reach out. It's all about building community. So yeah, thank you guys for sitting through and watching our extremely goofy selves. Hopefully this has resonated with you and hopefully you guys are excited because I'm super, super excited. Yeah. So
we've been trying to put this together for a minute. And
it's been a minute. It's been a minute. There's been a lot going on.
Logistically, we've worked this out. And logistically, again, please tell me if there's any way I can make the experience better later on, because I am trying to, I mean, this is like a little passion project, but at the same time, there's only so much mental strain I can take on at one time. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. It's not gonna, don't expect some patriarch level shit, please don't. But yeah. And also if you would like, I mean, because we kind of do. So, I mean, I guess we should get to know our audience, but like if there's any requests that you have about the way we say things or about the dialogue, obviously that's educational, but I also am including stuff like perhaps cursing, because I do know that I perhaps have the mouth of like a 16-year-old boy who just learned how to curse. So it's just, and obviously we want you to be able to watch this with your parents on some degree. So if you are parts of the younger brown community, then like let us know, because A, that's good for us to know because that means we're reaching people, and then B, like we also want you to be able to share it and not feel like it's one of those things that you have to hide from your parents, because that is one of the things in the brown community, is that we have to kind of hide our potty mouths, and that's like the entire premise of like a bunch of other issues that may rise up too that we might want to discuss. So just a note.
Yes, absolutely. Stay involved with us, communicate with us. We're super open to it. Shreyas is really open on the technical side if there's anything for him. I'm very open on, I guess, the other part
Talking.
of it.
Yeah.
Part of it.
If you want to join and be ranted at before you even get on the show, talk to her. If you want to just vibe and talk about other stuff and I'm just messing. I mean, we'll both be equally passionate if you message either of us.
Yes,
just hit the technical stuff to me, I guess. Yeah.
We're super excited about it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening. However this reaches you, please reach out. Let me know if you know me on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, any of it. If you know Shreyas on any of it. TikTok, Shreyas is on TikTok. He's blown up, so you guys check it out. Thank you guys so much. I hope all of you stay rowdy, rise yourself up, lift others up. And make good choices and be happy, you guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Nice tag. I like that. Okay, now I'm gonna end recording.
I've been thinking about it for like a hot minute.
You should have said something like Rowdy Ronnie signing off.
Oh, I don't know about that. Sounds
no, I know that felt just a little too
too
like 2006 YouTube.
But listen, I had